You know, if you want to change some things in your life, you've got to be proactive. Last year, let me tell you a little story. I was sitting in the office that I worked in the last 2 years, being bossed around by my boss. And I thought to myself, you know what? I'm done. I am done. I had this epiphany that if I wanted to change some things in my life, I needed to change. I just saw myself sitting there at, the time I was 52 in December. And I was thinking to myself, I could see myself like 52 and sitting there for another few years, 55, 60, 65, and doing the same thing. I thought to myself, if I want a different reality, then I need to make some changes in my life and I need to level up. So my name's Sue and welcome to my channel, Awaken Real Beauty. If you're new here, I'm all about health, wellness, and self-improvement for women, particularly women like myself who are 40, 50 and above. So if you want to change, I want to especially address you guys, you women who are like myself, that you are in your 50s, because girls, we've got to realize that we most likely have more time behind us now than we have ahead of us. And if you want to change and do things, you have to make changes in your life. I've always wanted to speak. I love speaking. I love encouraging women. I think all my friends around me would say that, I'm always encouraging and trying to lift them up. And I love to do it. It's something I've always wanted to do. So I started this YouTube channel simply because it's an outflow of my heart out there to the world, and I wanted to get it out. And I thought, if I don't start doing something that I want to do right now, when am I going to do it? Am I going to wait another 5 years? How long am I going to wait? And I can remember telling somebody who was close to me that I'm like, I want to start, reaching out and doing more public speaking. And they said, well, that's not who you are. No, that's not who you are, Sue. You shouldn't do that. And I thought, okay, then if that's not who I am, I'm going to become a version of myself who is that person. So if you watch some of my other videos, I talk about my struggle with continuing to try and lose weight and what I'm doing in that, like doing the bike diet. So I want to level up on all areas of my life, on how I'm showing up physically, how I'm taking care of myself, what I'm doing in my life, and enjoying the journey on the way. Because many times, girls, we literally have one life to live. What are we doing? Are we just sitting on those sidelines? And especially those of us who are older, I'm not 20, I'm not in my 30s anymore, and I'm not in my 40s anymore. When am I gonna realize that we only have this little bit of time here on planet Earth and start doing the things that you really want to do? So that's kind of where I'm at in my life. I want to step out and not be so blooming afraid anymore. What are we afraid of? It's time to step into that level of who you really want to be. So I want to ask you, what are some of the things that you want to do or be or feel, and enjoy the journey as you go through elevating yourself into that version of yourself. Start thinking, if I want to, for example, be a certain way or act a certain way or be a certain type of person, what are those things that particular person would do? So the other day I was really tempted to overeat. And I thought, what would the higher version of Sue do? Is she going to go and overeat and just go and binge? And guys, I'm going to tell you, I have failed in the past. I'm like, forget that and just do whatever. But the higher version of myself goes, no, Sue, come on, keep pressing forward. You can do this. And when I listen to that higher version of myself and I see who I could be, and then you overcome that short amount of temptation to do whatever it is that you want to do that is not the best for you, you feel so amazing afterwards, and you're putting yourself on a different alignment. You're leveling up. You're going to a whole different, version of yourself. You just have to press through those times. And normally, if you think about an egg timer, or one of those hourglasses, and you've got the time flowing through, and it has that, it gets really small in, right in the middle. That's the compression of time. That is the now moment that each one of us live. And it's these now moments that we're living in which change the the course of where we're going in our life. I want you to think about that. These little decisions, we think, oh, it's just a few bites of food, you know, oh, it doesn't really matter. But then it's one, if you're trying to lose weight, it's that one, you know, few extra bites, which a few extra bites, which add up. It's like, no, you know, if you want to lose weight and slim down, I'm just using that as an example, it's these little things, guys, which are stopping us from becoming the version of who that we want to be. So I have this picture of my higher self, and I feel like she's calling me and saying, come on, you're 53. You know, where are you going to go? What legacy are you going to leave? And whether it's just being, and you know, putting myself out here on YouTube or in my everyday life, I want you to think about for you too. Like, what are some things which you want to do? What are some things you want to do? So just as, you know, an example, when I had that epiphany last year, sitting at the office and feeling like so degraded and put down by the person that I was working for, I was like, okay, I can sit here and keep taking this for another 5, 10, 15 years, or I can decide I'm gonna shift, I'm gonna go to a different reality, I'm gonna level up, I'm gonna do something completely different. So the next day I walked in and I resigned. And I laid in bed that whole night. It was a long time coming. And I'm not saying if you're at a difficult job right now, I'm not saying to resign. I know that for me, that's something that I was supposed to do at that time in my life. And I felt so freed because I thought if I keep staying in that particular reality, that's all I'm going to get. So I want to encourage you, if you want to level up, you know, right now as I'm speaking to you, you know some of the things which are calling you, that's drawing your heart. You can feel it. It is kind of like part of you that's almost untamed. And it's, you know, many times there's part of us when we're waking up in the morning, you know, that fuzzy time from the time we're asleep to waking up, it's like calling us, it's telling us, you can be more, you can do more, you can be everything that you want to be. But, you know, we get up and that little voice just kind of like fades into the background as we get busy doing housework, doing laundry, paying the bills and just living life. But what if that little voice that you hear is the true you? And you can connect with that person that you really are as you go throughout the day, so you can create a new version of yourself. It's just like taking these small steps every single day to level up and become that person. Like, don't wait. Don't wait. Like, guys, I'm 53 years old right now. I've had all this time behind me. I've got a little bit of time ahead of me. I see people way younger than me living their dreams, doing what they want to do. And I'm like, you know what? I've just been around the sun a few times more on this planet. And I feel, you know, our spirits are eternal. It's our bodies which are aging. Make the most of each day. Don't take it for granted. If you want to write a book, start actually jotting something down. Start typing it out. Say, I'm going to write 1 page a day, whatever it may be. I recently had a friend of mine who wants to be a poet. She's going for it, and I'm so proud of her. She's putting herself out there. She's, you know, standing up and doing live performances of her poetry. Because when are you going to start doing those things that you want to do? I remember about 10 years ago, I wanted to be a personal trainer, and I decided that's what I wanted to do. I went and got my certification, and I did that for a few years, and it was amazing. But every single part of our life has different levels that we have to go up in. So what is your next assignment, and what's holding you back from doing it? I want to encourage you, step forward. If you don't like the version of yourself that you are right now, create a new one, okay? Your personal reality is pretty much your personality. And your personality is made up of all the things that you do, the things that you think, and that, you know, just what you're saying to yourself every single day. If you want to learn more about this, Joe Dispenza talks a lot about this in his book, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, which is a great book. I really recommend it. So you can do the same thing. You can break the habit of being the self that you are now and level up and become a new self. So I want to encourage you, if you are like me, or if you're younger and you want to become a new version of you, step into that version of you. Don't wait a minute longer, because time is of the essence, guys, and especially for those of us who have more time behind us than we have in front of us. It's time to level up. Create a new version of you. You can do it. I want to encourage you just to keep moving on, keep pressing on. And if you're like, well, I don't know what to do, you do. What is the next thing? What is something in your heart which even though it may be really small, that you can do? Because even these really small things, they shift us into a whole different timeline. Right now, I could still be sitting like a few miles up the road, working at a job where I'm continually feeling belittled and put down. And I'm like, no, it's time to move out and change things. I changed my reality. I changed, the trajectory of my life, and you can change the trajectory of your life too. So let that be an encouragement for you today, because there is a real beauty in you, and it's time for that beauty to awaken, and that is the beauty of your spirit. So until next time, this is Sue with Awaken Real Beauty. Bye for now.